Hey guys, I am back for the March horse rankings. I finally got the video done. I am going to say though I'm going to try to keep this as short and sweet as possible because I've already had to record the audio multiple times. The first time I recorded the audio, it got corrupted. And then just a reminder for the breeds that we've covered this month. We have an Ardennes, a Haflinger, a Mustang, we have the Dartmoor pony, we have a Marwari, a Paso Fino, and a Curly horse. These are the choices that I've made for animations and gait, so that's mostly judging like idle animations and then the transitions between the gaits and how smooth everything is. I've already spoken about the Ardennes in previous videos. I think they have very smooth transitions, very smooth animations. They did a really good job at making them feel large but not bulky. I think the hair, the mane and tail, are animated very well. They're definitely like a gentle giant. I also noticed specifically this time around, they took great care in animating their hooves and like the weight that they put on each foot, and I really appreciated that. The only complaints I had with this breed, and I've talked about them before, is I don't like the kicking animation at the end of a jump that they do, and also their special move is just a recycled animation from previous large breeds. And then for the Dartmoor pony, again, very, very smooth animations. This is the only pony that I have that I actually like riding. The gaits look great. The special move is really cute. Didn't really have any complaints visually with this breed. And then for the next tier, we have the Haflinger and the Paso Fino. For the Haflinger, I actually wrote in my notes that this horse has better eyelashes than I do. They're very beautiful. They put a lot of work into this breed, especially with the detail in their mane and tail, and there's actually so many hairstyles that you can choose from. The only reason that the Haflinger is not in the S tier is because the jumping animation looks very strange. You can't really tell whenever you're actively playing, but whenever you go into camera mode mid-jump, you'll see what I'm talking about, but it's not the prettiest. It's probably one of the worst jumping animations out of this entire group of horses for the month. We are also revisiting the Paso Fino. As I've said before, they're beautiful horses. I did actually learn something new about the Paso Fino this month. I noticed specifically with this one, despite I have like 6 Paso Finos, their tail is kind of stiff and it holds in a certain way no matter how fast you're galloping or, you know, if you're jumping or whatever. And I thought it was a mistake, and I looked it up. I did some research, and it turns out that Paso Fino, they have like, it's called either a scorpion tail or a J-bone. But their tailbone is shaped differently, and some people I was reading say that you can actually determine where they were born, like where they were reared, based on the exact shape of their tail, and I thought that was really interesting. So that is not a mistake. However, I have discussed previously that whenever you're at a full gallop, their hind legs seem to not lift up as soon as they should. That's kind of an issue for me considering how much work they've put into this breed otherwise, and considering we have five magic horses out of them. There's 3 unicorns and then the 2 gemstone horses. For the next tier, we have the Marwari and the Mustang. I've already discussed my issues with the Marwaris. You can tell that they did work really hard on like the animation of their manes. Like I noticed specifically that they do flow very well. And this horse in particular got extra credit just because I am a sucker for badger face markings. Otherwise I would not have gone for this coat color. But just in general, the animations for the Marwaris, they're very stiff, they're really clunky, and like I said before, the tail just kind of flops around. It's lifeless. Now for the Mustangs, I have a very specific bone to pick. I can't believe I didn't notice this last month whenever I reviewed Bolt. But specifically with the Mustangs here, I noticed towards the end of filming that if you increase your speed or decrease your speed rapidly, the legs like don't know what to do and they kind of just like stutter. And I tested this with the other horses for the month, and none of the other horses' legs do this. I don't know how they overlooked this. I don't know how this happened. I think it's unacceptable for a horse that is this new. It just came out last Halloween, and honestly, it really ruined this breed for me. Because like I did say in the previous month, I spoke of them pretty highly about how, you know, like their animations are pretty good, they're pretty smooth. Apparently I wasn't paying enough attention, but I remember mentioning like the wind-swept, wind-knotted hair. I thought that was really like a cool detail. But that is the reason why the Mustang is down in the B tier. Now the Curly horse, it is not in the C tier because of its age. It's specifically in the C tier because I think I discovered like a bug with it or something. Just in general, the animations aren't great. I mean, it's an older horse, you know, like when it runs, it's very bulky. It almost feels slower than the rest of the horses, even though you know it's not, but it's just, it's like wobbly, and it feels heavy whenever you're riding it. But more importantly, I couldn't remember if this breed had a special move or not because it's been so many years since it came out, and I don't really ride Curlies. So, you know, I pressed the space bar like one would do, and it kind of just soft locks you. So there is no special move, but you can't move your horse. You can't get off or get on. You have to go to the radial menu and dismount and remount to be able to continue playing. It's either that or you just log out of the game. And like, this is something that must have been so overlooked. I don't even know like how to put into words how ridiculous this is, especially with how old the horse is. I guess maybe they didn't sell enough, or they didn't get enough complaints for like this to get fixed. I'm not sure if this is a recent thing. Maybe it's a recent thing that developed after so many updates. I have no idea, but honestly, maybe it should go down to the D tier. But it, by far, the worst out of this entire group of horses, just solely because of that, but also its animations aren't great. Alright, and so now we're going to move on to design. Just keep in mind, a couple of these horses do have magic coats, so we'll be talking about that specifically too. For the Dartmoor pony, I thought the design was great. I love like the dappling on its belly. I love the coat color. I love just its facial expressions. They did a really good job with this horse. No complaints. The only reason that these two horses are in the A tier, the Ardennes and the Haflinger, two little things I have to nitpick about in regards to equipment that you can put on them. I don't know how I didn't notice this earlier, because I reviewed Ardennes last month, but when you put a bow on them, the bow on their tail like sits lower than the rest of the horses, and honestly I don't even mind the positioning. Like, it looks good on this breed, but it's the fact that like this is the only breed that I've so far ridden that has the bow this low. I immediately noticed it and I thought it looked so out of place. So I was just looking for a little bit of consistency there. It seemed a little weird. Similarly with the Haflinger, again, beautiful horse, just like the Ardennes and the Dartmoor. The strap on my bridle, which I only ride Bosel, I'm not sure if it's different for regular bridles, but the strap sits so high on this breed. And again, I don't know if that's a choice or what, or if it's like that for all other bridles, but again, I immediately noticed something was wrong. I looked at it and just seemed weird to me, so that's the only reason why they're not in the S tier. But as far as the magic coat goes for this specific Ardennes, I have no problem with it. I know some people have complained about the horn placement between this breed and Hortensia. I understand they had to do it for the bridles. Also, I think the horns look more natural on this this magic coat horse. I think it looks good. I think they did a really good job at making the natural coat and the magic coat different but the same, so that it looks like the same horse, because some of these magic coats look like totally different horses whenever you switch. And then moving down to the B tier, we have the Paso, Fino, and the Curly. I think we already know why the Curly is down here. Like I said, it's just animations aren't great, but besides that, like, I know design is normally just for looking at aesthetics, but you cannot have a horse literally soft lock you for pressing the spacebar when you're standing still. That is a design flaw, and it honestly deserves to be lower probably, but I really thought this guy was super cute. He has heterochromia. He has two different colored eyes. I think one's blue and one's brown, or like a yellow. Absolutely gorgeous eyes, and he has like a little marking on his face that looks like a star. His far as the Paso Fino, again, just like that back leg issue for the most part. There's nothing really wrong with this horse breed. I do think they overdid it with the Paso Fino, but that has no reason as to why it's down here. It's mostly just the hind leg thing. Whereas like the A tier horses, it's more of a equipment issues. B tier is more like design in regards to like animation issues. And then down in the C tier, we have both the Mustang and the Marwari. The only thing that's keeping this Marwari in my stable is that badger face, honestly. And for the Mustang, I was just really surprised by its magic coat because I know that Bolt, you know, we reviewed him last month, and they have unique sounds that go with him. You know, there's like the electronic like neigh, there's like the sounds of pistons. I could have sworn that there was like creaking, cracking wood sounds for Calliope, but I couldn't get her to do it. I put my volume up to max. I did every animation, every special move I could get her to do. I couldn't get her to make any of those sounds that I thought this horse made. I'm not sure if it did in the past and they removed it, or if it's just an issue on my end, but she doesn't make any sounds, whereas Bolt has his own sounds. And honestly, I do have to give them credit as well. With Calliope, like, you can tell that they make her hair look stiff and solid because, you know, she's supposed to be a carousel horse. But when you're at like a jump and a full gallop, like, you can see they still add like some very natural fluidity to the hair while still making it stick together and look solid. And I thought that was really cool. But again, like, she's down this far because that leg thing is a big issue for me. I don't know how I didn't notice it before, but now I can't stop seeing it every time I ride any of the new Mustangs. And then lastly, we're going to move down to rideability. I don't think you guys are surprised at all that I put the Ardennes at the top. I do really like this breed. I like larger breeds, but I don't like feeling bulky. I don't feel this way with the Ardennes, and that's mostly why they're in the S tier. There's nothing wrong with them. Their jumps are pretty decent. I don't like the form of it, but they clear pretty decent jumps. The Paso Fino and the Haflinger, their jumps are okay. Like I said, animations are pretty decent on them. It's just like the leg on the Paso Fino. I think these are horses that I would ride pretty regularly. The only reason they're down a level is because I've had them miss a couple of jumps. I've had the Paso Fino get stuck on a couple of things, and I still don't really like where that bosal sits on the Haflinger's muzzle. And then for the Dartmoor and the Mustang, they're down a level. So I love the Dartmoor, and if I do have to do the pony race, I will take the Dartmoor. But I noticed that, like, he was missing a lot of jumps, and I mean jumps that normally I would clear no problem. I was having to give like extra time, extra space because like his back legs would get stuck on the poles, or we would just get stuck in the actual jump. For the Mustang, there weren't really many complaints I had with it. It's just like the leg animation. I also don't appreciate that its magic coat, in my opinion, is not equal to Bolt. For the Marwari, it's just a very stiff experience. It doesn't feel anything like riding one of the newer model horses. I really hope they remake the Marwari in the future because it's my favorite breed, and like, I feel like they could have done so much better, and I am excited to see what they're going to do in the future. But it's just not something that I could ride regularly, and I wouldn't feel comfortable taking it into a race. And we have our first D tier as the Curly, because to have an issue so bad that it literally soft locks you in the game, that's ridiculous. It's not just the fact that it rides horribly like the Marwari and like it feels super bulky and slow. It's the fact that it can practically soft lock you in. But that is all I have today. I appreciate your guys' patience. It's been pretty hectic here. I put aside a couple of days to work on this at the end of March. I've been hoping to get these videos out either the last day of the month or the first day of the following month. But between me and losing the audio the first time having to record this, and I'm sure you guys have heard shuffling noises in the background, I do have a pet bird, and she's kind of just like pacing around building her nest right now. So there's really no way to avoid that noise right now. But anyways, yeah, I hope you guys appreciate this. I hope this has helped you guys make decisions in the future for like choosing horses. And I hope you guys have a great day. I will see you next month.